Hello everyone, what's happening? This is Forgo, and this week is waifu week in Championship. Now I can't jump in here right now, but all we can use is our ladies, which is pretty cool. I actually think this week is better than the KOF original week last week. It feels a little bit more balanced, but it's still pretty rough, but it usually is when it comes to Championship due to lag, desyncs, and all that crap. But that is one good thing about this week. K isn't in there, and I love K, but he causes desync, something fierce. And it's nice that, at least from the gameplay I've done so far, I haven't had to deal with it. Let me know in the comments if you all have. But I want to give you guys the choices of the characters that you should be your top bans for the Lady Week. The characters that you should be instant ban, or maybe the characters that you should ban if you have certain characters. So let's just run through this a little bit. We'll just work our way from left to right, and we'll talk about each of them. So Pretty Brian is a very good character. She does have the Ignore Guard on her second skill that actually can get reset, 70% chance. Really good character, you know, with her core, with the 6 seconds immunity at the end. Really good, but she isn't an instant ban, in my opinion, because she has no immunity. And yes, you could put a Nakane set on her, but why would you? From the testing that players and I have done, the 2 seconds of immunity on the Akane set does not add on to the 6 seconds of immunity from Pretty Brian's core effect. So you're still only going to get 6 seconds, so the Akane set is kind of useless against her. Plus, now we have the Leah set. And the Leah set has Damage Reflect. And Damage Reflect actually bypasses damage immunity. So even though she'll have immunity, if she's facing a character that has a Leah set, which is going to happen a lot now, she will take damage and she will die. So she's not on top tier. She's a character that I would fight against over and over and over. Pretty Kim is actually much better than I rated her months ago. She's actually a very strong character due to her Petrify. She can be kind of a pain to deal with because she does have Hyper Armor. She does have the Petrify. She has the Petrify from her core effect. She has Ignore Guard. She has the gain Super Armor when guarding. And, of course, the Hyper Armor that I just mentioned. She can ignore the target's guard. 100% chance. Which is pretty freaking insane. So she's a really good character, but she isn't a character I would ban. Her damage is kind of lacking, but she does have a lot of CC. The other thing about her is her attacks are short range. So a good player will be able to dodge her attacks for the most part. I mean, yeah, you'll get petrified once in a while, and maybe you'll lose because of that, but she's a very strong character, but not top tier by any means, in my opinion. Now, Pretty Big, we all know how Pretty Big is. Pretty Big's freaking insane because of her third skill, this Interrupt with Hyper Armor. And then, of course, this is really the Kingdom Come for her. She combos super well, but she also has the damn stun after she's been attacked. Six seconds after she's attacked, the opponents get stunned, and then she can just run right through her damn combos. She is a monstrosity, but for me, she just isn't an instant ban. Now, for some of you, she might be an instant ban. But to me, I mean, I play Pretty Big a lot, and I understand how she plays. But there are times where you might want to think about banning her. You know, there are characters that float really well up in the air when they're knocked up in the air, like Pretty Zero. Although you should be banning Pretty Zero. But she can combo really well against a character like that if she doesn't die. But Pretty Big to me is very, very strong and could be a character you ban. But I don't think a top ban. She's like right at the brink of it, at least for me. But that's because I played her quite a bit. I understand her. I understand her mechanics. And then you have Pretty Zero. Pretty Zero is a top ban, instant ban. You should ban this character no matter what, because if opponents have that damn Leah set, and you can make this argument for Pretty Big and really for all these characters. If the opponent has the Leah set, I fought a Pretty Zero yesterday, and 3 cats. Boom, 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 boom. And guess what? The old cat has it can actually 30% chance to ignore your target's guard upon landing a successful attack. That is 3 casts if that Leah set procs that can maybe ignore your guard. And she's going to have Damage Reflect. And she does have the immunity at the beginning of her from her core effect. And her damage is absolutely insane, and so is her PG gain. Pretty Zero should be an instant ban for all of you. I mean, I know sometimes, like even me, I'll try to fight her, but seriously, if they got that damn Leah set or even the Ryugo set, and if they're running the Ryugo set, he already has Ignore Guard. But if this thing doesn't proc, if this first skill doesn't proc, and she hits you with another skill, she's gonna have another chance to ignore your guard. A 10% chance, but still another chance. It's increasing her chance of ignoring your guard, and we all know what she does if she ignores your guard. She is going to melt you like butter. Pretty Zero is an instant ban for me. Then we have Pretty Clone. Pretty Clone is a character that I would fight against. I think she's kind of more on the lower tier. She doesn't have an ignore guard. I mean, she does have increased attack, and I mean, these are just a level 3 and level 1. I don't have her leveled up. And she can disable the roll, but unless you got a Ryugo set, that's the only time she can really become dangerous. Or if, you know, you let off your guard a little bit and then she can go, because she combos really well. If you let off your guard and she gets you, she can boom, 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 and just start comboing the hell out of you, especially over in a corner. But she really relies on the Ryugo set and the ignore guard, and that's really why she isn't at the top echelon of instant ban. She's a character I definitely would fight for sure. Then we'll move along here and we'll go to Vice. Now, Vice is a interesting character. Vice with the Leah set is actually dangerous, even though she can reset her skills. She is actually very, very dangerous because with the Leah set, she can get the decreased damage received by 70% twice. Think about that. This is an interrupt skill, and she can keep this up twice for 6 seconds using the Leah set. So it's going to make her tankier. She's going to have the reflect, and she is damn dangerous. Very, very dangerous character, and she could be an instant ban for you. If you're running a pretty big, you might want to ban Vice. In fact, I would highly suggest that you do ban Vice, because if you don't, Vice is a damn good counter for pretty big because she takes away her biggest weapon, that damn stun from her core effect. Vice is an absolute monster, but if you're not running with pretty big, then maybe you wouldn't, but I don't know. Vice is very, very strong. I don't think, like, top tier, like, I don't think she's instant banned, but she's borderline instant ban. If you have pretty big, you should ban her. Absolutely. And then Leona. Now, Leona is a character that can do well. I mean, if she has the Ryugo set because she has no ignore guard, but she isn't an instant ban for me because, like Pretty Clone, even though I think Leona's much better because of her poison damage, explosion, I think that Leona is manageable. You know, you can play against her. I mean, yeah, she can combo well. She's an amazing character, especially if she gets you in a corner and you can do the guard cancels and keep you locked up in the air. Yes, against a skilled player, Leona is very dangerous. But that goes for all these fighters. But I think you'll find that you can manage her as long as you stay away from her second skill, stay away from this damn poison damage skill where that damn ball comes out. Because that thing does a lot of hits, and she has a Ryugo set. It could proc pretty easy on the skill, but it doesn't sometimes. I mean, you can just guard against her. She just, to me, isn't an instant ban. You know, this is a character that I would fight against, even though Leona does build up her PG, even though she has very good damage, I still would fight against her compared to some of these other characters. I mean, I would ban Vice before I would ban Leona, for sure. And definitely Pretty Zero. And then we have Mature. Now, Mature is an interesting character because Mature has something very interesting in her kit. I mean, she's got all this extra damage. I mean, she can remove hyper armor and super armor. But she also has Reflect Freeze. And guess who that's good for? Good old Kula, who is an instant ban, in my opinion. Now, if you do have Summer Night Mature and you're trying to choose whether or not to pick someone's Kula, well, you might pick their Kula, but they might pick your Summer Night Mature and ban your Summer Night Mature. It's really kind of a chess game and, you know, just kind of guessing as to what character you pick. You know, Mature is also a blue type who actually has the disadvantage against Kula, who is purple. So that's something to think about. But I did face a swimsuit Mature with my Kula, and I got to tell you, even though she has the type disadvantage, she did very, very well. I mean, I was getting frozen left and right. I did a 3 PG, I got frozen. It's just reflect freeze. But I don't think she's an instant ban. Like I said, maybe if you're using Kula, but I think Kula's going to be an instant ban this week for a lot of people. I definitely think she's an instant ban. So I think that this is a character that you could fight and you could manage, but you just have to be really careful with her because she can remove your super armor and hyper armor. And it's all on a 10-second cooldown. So that's something to think about. You know, she'll do it once, and if you can dodge those attacks, then you can go in for the kill. But she does have a lot of damage. She is very dangerous. I do think she's quite strong this week. And sorry guys, Shion's not on this list. And then we have Maxima. Maxima for me is an instant ban. Now I know for some players she's not going to be, but I'm telling you right now, if they're running that damn Leah set on her, she has the immunity in her core effect. She already gets a reset on her second skill, and this is a grab skill, and her PG gain is absolutely insane. Her PG gain is freaking nuts. I mean, she goes through one rotation. She's pretty well built up her 3 PG. And if she's got that damn Leah set, boom, 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 right? She is going to do insane damage with all of her dot damage. She's a very, very dangerous character. I personally have trouble dealing with her. I know some people don't. Her attacks are short range when it comes to her second skill, but you got to be careful because the third skill can take away your skills for 2 seconds, and that's when she can come in and murder you. So yeah, she's one of them characters. I think for some players she's going to be an instant ban. For me, she is because I have trouble dealing with her. Maybe for you, she isn't. But for me, Pretty Zero and Maxima are instant bans. Then we have Kula. Kula is an instant ban for me. She is an instant ban. Get rid of her. You don't want to be fighting this girl because now she has the 3 PG card that freezes you, and it's a full screen animation, so it's going to hit you. Yeah, you can do your awakening skill, right? And you can get away from that, the part where she's hitting you. She's still going to freeze you. She's still going to freeze you, and you're still going to go in for the kill. Now, against Leona, and this is something that's interesting, whenever Kula is facing Leona, then Kula won't be able to use her skills for 2 seconds. So during the freeze duration, when Leona's frozen, Kula won't be able to do anything because she won't have her skills. You know, she might be able to do some basics, but that's about it. But she's damn strong, especially with this option card. It gives her a lot of extra stats and just makes her an absolute monster. I really would ban that character. I mean, even if you run with Mature, I probably would ban her because, like I said earlier, if you have Mature, who is a counter for Kula, even though she's got the type disadvantage, but she's got the Reflect Freeze, more than likely, they're going to ban your Mature. If they got Kula, they're probably going to ban your Mature. That's what I would do. And then you have Lady Geese. Lady Geese is a manageable character. This is a character that I did a review about a while back. She's a good character. She's strong. She's got a lot of damage, but she needs a Ryugo set because her grab skill can be dodged fairly easy. But she can put in work. She can take away blast skills. So that's something to think about. She could be a decent counter for Pretty Zero, but again, even with Lady Geese, I would still ban Pretty Zero. You know, Lady Geese does have the core effect where she stuns the attacker for 2 seconds when attacked while petrified. But, you know, if Pretty Zero petrifies for 2 seconds, then she's going to get stunned for 2 seconds. It doesn't really leave you a large open window to get in those kills. I mean, she can put in work, but this is a character that I would fight against. She would not be an instant ban for me at all. And then Elizabeth. Now, Elizabeth is a very, very strong character. And again, if you have Mature, she could probably be a good counter for Elizabeth. Because Mature won't have a type disadvantage against Elizabeth. Mature is going to reflect that freeze, and then Elizabeth's going to get freaking frozen. You know, but Elizabeth, on her third skill, she reflects 8% damage taken for 5 seconds. Okay, and she has the core effect. And she's got this insane heal. But if you're running with Mature, then you could reflect her freeze. You could take away her hyper armor from her third skill. And you can murder her. But Elizabeth really is, in my opinion, really one of the better characters. She's very strong this week because players can play very defensively. They can run around. They can back off because of her heal from her core effect. I mean, she's just going to constantly heal, guys. I mean, we'll jump back in here. I mean, if her HP is 50% or more, she's going to be getting a heal the whole time. There's no cooldown on this thing. So you got to get her HP below 50%, and then she decreases damage received from ultimate moves by 70%. So she's just a tank of a character, and she might be a character that you might want to ban, you know, if you have problems with this character. But the thing is, they're going to have to run a Ryugo set. She doesn't have Ignore Guard in her kit. I mean, she's got a freeze, and that's when she can really start coming in, doing her attacks, building up her PG. But he doesn't have any Ignore Guard. So that's something to think about. Plus, with freeze, characters are locked in place, and she can't juggle them, knock them up in the air. But she can hit them, and she can build up her PG. Very strong character this week. You might think about banning her. It really depends on the characters that the player you're facing has available to him. Now, Vanessa. Vanessa could be a character you could ban. She's actually extremely strong this week due to her increased damage, but really it's her damn core effects. I mean, this thing is just stupid. I mean, she gains super armor for 3 seconds when attacked by an enemy with super armor or hyper armor. So she's going to have super armor up almost all the time, unless she's facing a character like Kula, who doesn't have native super armor. Freezes the enemy for 2 seconds when an ultimate move received ends, so they get frozen. Also, and decreases damage received from ultimate move by 80% if HP is 30% or more. You know, and then she also has a chance to freeze them for 2 seconds whenever they're using super armor and hyper armor. I mean, her core effects is really what makes her so damn strong. She combos well, but she's kind of a pick 'em apart character where she just keeps attacking, and tries to juggle you and beat the hell out of you. But she is squishy, and that's why she isn't an instant ban for me. Because if you're doing ranged attacks, or if you know how to play against her, you know, when she does her third skill, you know, it is an interrupt skill. She does gain the super armor, and she does stun you. If you're, you know, using your hyper armor whenever she does this, you time it right, you'll get frozen still, but she won't be doing damage to you at that point. But she still can apply dot damage from her second skill, the cold spell. So she's not an instant ban, but she's borderline instant ban. She's kind of like Vice in that way. And then Nakaruru. Nakaruru, unfortunately, I haven't seen her at all in Championship. Nobody's really playing with her. She's a character I definitely would fight. I would go against her with the characters that, you know, you have. I mean, she's got a good kit. It's kind of weird. She's just really hard to play for a lot of players. She's got burn, bleed, and super armor, and immunity. But she has no PG gain in her kit. She just doesn't ever seem like she does enough damage. She does have Ignore Guard. She does have an interrupt skill. I mean, when you look at her kit, she looks pretty damn strong. But whenever you play her in PvP, you'll find that she's just lacking. You know, she's just lacking. She just doesn't do that well. And against a good player, she won't do that well. Shermy can put in work, but she's not an instant ban for me. She's a character that I definitely would fight. You know, I mean, she's immune to stun, which is good. So against Pretty Big, she will not take any damage at all. Well, she'll take damage, but she won't get stunned. She won't reflect it, though, either. So Pretty Big will still always have her skills available. It won't be like Vice, where she can actually stun Pretty Big. And then decrease the enemy's power by 4%. And removes attack debuff and ultimate move. And stuns the target stat count by 1.2 seconds. She's really just a stun machine is her thing. And if she stuns you, she can pretty much keep you locked down for the most part. I mean, she disable your roll. She can keep stunning you afterwards. I mean, she's a good CC character, but she's squishy. She is a attack type. She is squishy, and she can die. So she is a character that I would definitely fight against. So my top bans are definitely Pretty Zero and Kula. And then after that, and Maxima. Kula, Maxima, and Pretty Zero, for me, are my top bans. But I think really for all of you out there, I think you really should ban Kula. And I really think you should ban Pretty Zero. I think they should be your instant bans. But that's just, you know, my opinion. Oh, and I almost forgot. I'm sorry. Orochi Leona. Leona, unfortunately, just doesn't do that well. I mean, she does have an Ignore Guard in her kit. She does have super armor. She deals shock damage, but she just doesn't do that much damage. She really isn't what she should be, unfortunately. Leona 12 is much more dangerous, in my opinion, much higher damage, and much better stats because she's a defensive character. Orochi Leona is definitely a character I would fight. And last but not least is Alice. Since I don't have her, we need to go in the Codex. And we gotta go to All Stars. There we go. And let's see if we can find Alice. Where is she at? Let's see. There's Chris. There's Alice. Okay. Now, Alice, man, she's a damn strong character. She proves to be quite formidable. But I don't think she's on Pretty Zero's tier. I don't think she's on Pretty Zero or even Kula's tier. But I think she's right below it. She is a very dangerous character because she does combo well. She's super fast. She has poison damage. She builds up her PG extremely quick because she does have 20% power charge rate in her core. She's a deadly character. She's got interrupt skill on her second skill. She has good range. I mean, she's really just a very, very strong character and very strong this week. She would have the type advantage against someone like Pretty Zero because she is a green type. But I still think that Pretty Zero is just really better for PvP, in my opinion. And I don't think she's quite on that tier, but she is very strong. I really put her more along the lines of with someone like Vice, which is no slouch. That's pretty much where I'd put her. Is she an instant ban? For some people, she might be because she can be hard to deal with because of her wonky skills. I mean, she's all over the screen and your eyes are just like going crazy trying to figure out where the hell she's at. So I can understand why people would ban her. I really don't personally like fighting her myself that much. But the other characters that I would put on the ban list, like Maxima, I would ban Maxima, Pretty Zero, and Kula before I would ban Alice. Although when I pick Alice, I'm like, here we go. Because she is very, very strong. So hopefully this will help some of you out there as far as maybe who to ban and who not to ban. But as always, it really just depends on the kind of player you are and the characters that you have less trouble dealing with or more trouble dealing with as far as who you ban, who you pick. So let me know what characters you've gotten, what cards you've gotten, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.